Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Hawks Latest, your number one source for news, updates, rumors, opinions, and you guessed it, the latest and the greatest regarding the Atlanta Hawks. I'm your host, Zach Langley, aka Langley ATL, and today we are going to be talking about a few recent reports that have come out regarding the Hawks' future and some discussions that Hawks fans have been having when it comes to this offseason. So, between potential contract extensions to a few of our guys, some pre-draft workouts, which are currently happening, international scouting buzz, once again, some reports that recently have come to light, and even something that Hawks fans are kind of interested in and might be a possibility this offseason. So there's a lot to cover today. Without further ado, let's get right into the state of the Hawks. So let's start with what could be one of the most important decisions of the summer, if not the most important, a potential contract extension for the 2024-2025 most improved player and second place defensive player of the year, Dyson Daniels, the great barrier thief. Last offseason, he was acquired during a time of change, as we all know. Daniels represents more than just a defensive stopper for this Atlanta franchise. He's, I guess, symbolic of a forward-thinking Atlanta front office. At only 22 years old, Daniels is already recognized league-wide for his absolute incredible defensive instincts, and he's just beginning to scratch the surface of his offensive capabilities. I mean, we saw a huge jump for him offensively this season, which is really why he won Most Improved Player. When he came to Atlanta, it was viewed as an absolute steal for New Orleans getting DeJounte Murray, because the Hawks were getting this guy where it was like, yeah, okay, he's a good defender. I mean, he's young, but he brings nothing offensively. And this past season, Dyson really changed that narrative, and he has grown into this pretty good offensive player who's only 22 years old and is only going to get significantly better. So now regarding his contract extension this offseason, many are pointing to the recent extension that was handed out to Jalen Johnson. Jalen Johnson, who played 36 games this past season and put up incredible all-star numbers. We signed him 5 years for $150 million, just $30 million a year. I mean, it's a steep price, but also very team friendly regarding, I mean, in reference to what Jalen could become in the future. I mean, that's really a sign that the Hawks are all in on building for their long-term sustainable success that we've all hoped they can have in this Trae Young era. If that's truly the case, securing Daniels to a long-term deal would obviously be a wise and natural next step. But realistically, these negotiations aren't going to be easy because, with Daniels just scratching the surface with his offensive game, we don't really know how far he can go when it comes to his ability to put the ball in the basket. I mean, we know what he can bring defensively, and obviously he's an incredibly important player moving forward, but it's hard to gauge a contract for a guy like that. So, I mean, people point to Jalen's extension. They point to Jaden McDaniels' recent contract extension. But still, this is, exactly the type of bet the franchises really need to make. Lock in a player before his market explodes. I mean, if Dyson came home with Defensive Player of the Year, we would be talking a much steeper contract for him. So if Atlanta doesn't reach an extension, Daniels is going to be heading to restricted free agency in 2026, and he's almost guaranteed to receive, obviously, some offer sheets from other teams. But hopefully Atlanta can go ahead and get that done. Financially, though, in the range of like 4 years, $100 million, kind of matching some of these other guys from previous draft classes that have gotten deals like that as soon as they were eligible for their rookie extension. That's a realistic starting point. If in my opinion, I would income for that 4 years, $100 million, 25 a year. I think Dyson is worth that and more. Going forward, I mean, such a important piece next to Trae Young and the rest of the team. Notably, Eric Pincus of Bleacher Report, he floated a slightly higher estimate. He said 4 years, $112 million, especially considering his trajectory and then winning Most Improved Player in his third year in his first season with Atlanta. But either way, it's clear if the Hawks are serious about remaining competitive, locking down Daniels should obviously be a priority. And it's something I think they will quickly be able to do once this offseason officially gets started. So next up, we have some of Atlanta's preparations for the 2025 NBA draft. They're underway. We have reached pre-draft workout season. We're going to be bringing in guys every day to come check out the practice facility and get to know some of the guys before this draft in late June. The Hawks have scheduled pre-draft workouts with 4 intriguing prospects soon. So let's start with this guy out of Auburn, Tahad Pettiford, at 6'1", small guy. He's an electric scorer, and he's really an explosive athlete. Despite being a freshman, he made a strong case for first round consideration. I mean, he's still, you know, he's someone that the Hawks can bet on. If he is there, that could be something that Atlanta could possibly do with pick 22. That might be reaching, but he does bring quickness, shot creation, and real upside in transition. Another guy that the Hawks are planning to bring in is Ryan Nembhard out of Gonzaga. He's another name to watch. He's point guard with good vision. He led the NCAA in both total assists and assists per game this past season. So if you bring him in, who's better for this young guy to learn from other than the best passer in the league, Trae Young? After 2 years at Creighton and 2 more at Gonzaga, his maturity and his decision-making are perfect for a backup or rotational role in the league. So then there's Lamont Butler, who had transferred to Kentucky after 4 impactful years at San Diego State. He's known primarily for his elite lockdown perimeter defense, something that Atlanta can not use enough of. He improved his three-point shooting to 39% this year. Just great all-around player. I mean, for teams like Atlanta that need defense at the guard spot, I mean, that's a solid, late round option. And then lastly, Davion Smith, who is actually a local product out of Grayson High School. He's also getting a look from the franchise after bouncing around between Mississippi State, Georgia Tech, Utah, St. John's, transfer portal, final boss. He finished strong this season, averaging 9 points, nearly 5 boards and 4 assists. A very all-around game. He might not be drafted, but don't be surprised if he earns that summer league spot or a two-way contract with not only the Hawks, but possibly any other team moving forward. So it's clear that the Hawks are going ahead and doing their homework. Whether it's depth at the guard, playmaking and defense. These workouts kind of reflect, I guess, a targeted approach to their roster building and what they plan on doing going forward. So now let's pivot to the international scene, where Atlanta is reportedly keeping close tabs on several rising prospects abroad. There have been a few international guys that have recently, in the past couple of weeks after the combine and everything, have really shot up the draft rankings. And honestly, all of these guys, well, 2 of these guys I'm about to list probably will be gone by the time Atlanta makes their pick. They're both rising tremendously in the draft. So first up is Igor Demin. He's a versatile forward from Russia who can play the guard. He's kind of a point forward. He has a smooth handle, and he had absolutely impressive positional size. He's like 6'9", handling the ball at the top, and he's showcased flashes of guys like Denny Avdia or like Josh Giddey, that kind of player. I've seen him get compared to Luka Doncic. I don't necessarily believe that, but he has that potential to be a very impactful player, and his shooting needs some work. He shot 27% last season at BYU, but he's a project, and he's someone that wouldn't immediately play if Atlanta were to draft him at 13, but it's something to think about. Next up is Noah Esengu. I probably butchered that last name. He's from France. He's a powerful, athletic forward. He's known for that motor and athletic ability and his ability to crash the boards. France really continues to be a goldmine for front court talent. And we saw last year, the Hawks drafted Zachary Reese number 1 overall. He could be a gem for the right team. And then finally, there's Hansen Yang, who is a towering big man from China. He's 7'2". He passes the ball extremely well. He moves well for his size and has intriguing touch around the basket. He's super young, and he's someone who his game could translate very well to the NBA, and he could end up being seen as one of the steals of the draft. He's still a very raw player, but when you have a great coaching staff like we do in Atlanta, there's real upside, and it's someone who we might take a look at pick 22. Atlanta's been real aggressive in international scouting over the past several seasons, and any one of these names could be a summer league edition or a draft and stash candidate, or anything else. Finally, let's turn to some high stakes speculation. And this comes after Dominique Wilkins had actually, in that interview we were talking about last episode, the interviewer had asked him about Kevin Durant, and he had talked about Nick and Durant go way back, and they've developed a relationship over the years. Since Phoenix's early playoff exit, Durant's been involved in a little bit of trade rumors. And Dominique Wilkins, the human highlight film, he weighed in himself. And he said he didn't mix up his words. He said Kevin Durant doesn't need to prove anything to anybody about how great he is. He's one of the greatest scorers ever. Everything else is gravy. It's strong words from someone who knows a thing or two about NBA greatness. He also expressed concern over Durant's future moves, suggesting that, another relocation could be taxing on the body of a 38-year-old who's still obviously a very elite player. He emphasized that KD should be content with his achievements so far in his career, particularly his 2 titles with the Warriors, and that they shouldn't be, undermined because of the circumstances. He should probably think twice before trying to carry another franchise to do so as well. So now that brings the question, if Durant seeks a trade this offseason, which it's appearing very likely, and I'm not going to get too into the, Durant trade speculation right now. I'm going to save that for a future episode if rumors really start to heat up and Atlanta is maybe listed as a potential destination. Atlanta, once again, like I mentioned for the past several blockbuster trades Atlanta's potentially been involved in, they do have the assets to make a compelling offer, whether that includes some of the young guys or some matching contracts and draft capital. There are 2 alleyways that do seem realistic for a guy like Kevin Durant, and to pair him up with Trae Young and Jalen Johnson and Dyson Daniels, and then a capable bench. It certainly caught the attention of fans in front office alike. I mean, Atlanta tried to acquire Durant last season at the trade deadline, and obviously that didn't go through. It's going to be a little more difficult to do with Hunter and Capella both being gone. However, it's something Atlanta might potentially revisit, and I don't even need to get started because then I'm going to continue to talk about the Durant to Atlanta rumors, and that's not what today's episode is about. So whether it's locking up Dyson Daniels, scouting future talent, or just keeping an eye on, superstar trade targets and still being involved in the headlines despite being eliminated, the Atlanta Hawks are quietly laying the groundwork for what could be a transformative offseason that we are going to be covering all summer here on Hawks Latest. So once again, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update from Hawks Latest. Once again, I am Zach Langley, and this has been Hawks Latest. Thank you.